Hello students, this is Ramesh Soni and I am here to talk to you guys about the next chapter today. The next chapter on our revisionary series is the types of duties chapter. Baba, we had started the custom revisionary with the first chapter, which was a levy and exemption chapter. The second chapter which was there was talking about import and export procedure. The third chapter was classification. The fourth chapter was valuation. Today we'll be going ahead and discussing types of duties chapter. Baba, types of duties chapter, sir, how will we go ahead and learn? Baba, we will be learning from our 2-pager summary which is there in the chart book. These are the 2 pages which are there in your chart book. Sir, I don't have the chart book. Baba, you can download it from, not the chart book, you can download these charts from rameshsoni.com under free resources. Along with that, in this lockdown period, now I have gone ahead and prepared 2 pages ka summary, which is basically of your types of duties chapter. Whatever questions have been asked previously in the exam, whatever questions are there in the Q&A book, I have tried to go ahead and compress them and put under 2 pages ka summary. People who have my chart book also, these 2 pages are not there because I have just now gone ahead and prepared them during this lockdown period, so that you guys before you go for your exam, just read those 2 pages and it will be helpful if any questions comes out of this chapter, right everyone? So let's go. So all the 4 charts, 2 charts which are there and this 2-page summary, you guys can go ahead and download from rameshsoni.com. People who have my chart book, you need to download, I will name it as additional chart. These 2 pages which I have made the summary, I'll go ahead and name it as types of duties additional chart. So when you go to rameshsoni.com, you can download only additional chart. People who don't have my summary chart book, you can go ahead and download all the 4 charts and take the printout. Right everyone? Chalo. Let's go ahead and start the chapter of types of duties. In the chapter of types of duties, I'll be starting from the beginning. Sir, can you please go ahead and connect this chapter? Baba, in connection of this chapter, when you go ahead and import into India, various custom duties are levied. Sir, custom duties are levied on what? Custom duties are levied on value. Sir, value. Sir, I have already gone ahead and told you about the value under section number 14. I hope you guys remember in the previous chapter, we had gone ahead and learned about the value. If you have not revised the chapter, please go to my channel. In the chapter of valuation, I have gone ahead and taught about the value. Now, value into rate of exchange, I told you which date ka rate of exchange, CBIC notified rate of exchange into rate of duty. I told you which date ka rate of duty has to be taken. Now, these various custom duties which are levied, what are the various types of custom duties which are levied? The first type of custom duty. So, when you say value, first you will have to find out the value. Baba, as I have told you, first you have to find out the value. On the value, you will have to go ahead and apply the various types of custom duty. Sir, value can be under section number 14.1, which is basically the transaction value, or 14.2, which is the tariff value, which is notified by the CBIC. Sir, once I go ahead and take the value, Baba, value, when I say transaction value, it basically means the CIF after the adjustments under rule number 10. Baba, it's a revisionary. I hope everyone is able to connect. And Baba, or it is the tariff value. Now, sir, once I have the value under section number 14.1 or section number 14.2, Baba, you will have to go ahead and add along with it basic custom duty. Basic custom duty, Baba, if you remember, it is levied under section number 12 of the Custom Tariff Act, which we had, no, it is levied under section number 12 of the Customs Act. We had already learned about section number 12, the levy section, that it says custom duties shall be levied on goods imported or exported from India. Baba, the same thing. Section number 12 talks about the levy, and sir, at what rate? Section number 12 of the Custom Act talks about the levy of basic custom duty at the rate which is told in the Custom Tariff Act. And Custom Tariff Act, when you go ahead and see, you will see the first schedule and you will see the second schedule. Baba, the first schedule gives you the import duty ka rate. The second schedule which is there gives you the export duty ka rate. The first schedule gives you of the Custom Tariff Act. The first schedule gives you import duty ka rate. The second schedule gives you export duty ka rate. Import duty, whenever I say import duty, there are 2 types of rates which are there. Baba, whenever you see import duty, there are 2 types of rate. One is standard rate, one is preferential rate. Sir, what are the 2 types of rate? The 2 types of rate, if I tell you, is standard rate and preferential rate. Now, what do you mean by standard rate? What do you mean by preferential rate? Baba, preferential rate is a rate which is allowed. Sir, if standard rate is 30%, preferential rate will be 25% or 20%. Basically, preferential rate is a rate which is lower than the standard rate. Sir, why is preferential rate allowed? Baba, preferential rate is allowed whenever you go ahead and import from a most favored nation. Basically, the government of India have gone ahead and declared that country as the most favored nation. For an example, Sri Lanka. If Sri Lanka has been declared as the most favored nation, I go ahead and import from Sri Lanka. The rate of duty, in spite of being applied at 30%, will be applied at 25%. So, preferential rate is allowed whenever you go ahead and import from most favored nation, subject to fulfillment of conditions. Sir, what are the conditions? When will I get preferential rate? Sir, if I don't get preferential rate, then our standard rate shall be allowed. But will I want preferential rate or standard rate? I will always want preferential rate. So let's go ahead and understand the condition. So Baba, you will go ahead and apply basic custom duty. Basic custom duty can be a standard rate or preferential rate. When will you get preferential rate? Baba, section number 4 talks about it. If you go ahead and see the additional chart, additional summary pages which I have given, preferential rate of duty, section number 4 talks about it. So Baba, levy of duty where standard rate and preferential rate both are specified. Sir, if standard rate and preferential rate both are specified, which rate of duty shall be applied? See Baba, if standard rate and preferential rate both are specified and that goods you have got from a most favored nation, you can claim preferential rate of duty. Sir, if preferential rate of duty is not given only, if it is not given, always apply standard rate. Sir, but if I want to claim preferential rate, sir, if both are given and I want to claim preferential rate, what do I do? Baba, duty shall be levied at preferential rate. Duty shall be levied at preferential rate subject to fulfillment of some condition. You will have to fulfill some condition. What are the conditions, sir? Importer, at the time of importation, when I import, importer should make a specific claim for preferential rate of duty. You have to claim a specific, you will have to make a claim for preferential rate of duty. They will not just like that go ahead and give it to you. You will have to claim. Next, importer also claims. He also has to claim. If I am the importer, I also have to claim that goods are manufactured or produced in that preferential area. For an example, if preferential area is Sri Lanka, I'll have to go ahead and also claim that, sir, first of all, my goods are leviable to preferential rate of duty. Secondly, it has been manufactured or produced in that preferential area. For an example, Sri Lanka. Secondly, thirdly, the area should be notified as the preferential area by the central government in the official gazette. Baba, Sri Lanka, if I am telling I have imported from Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka should be notified as the preferential area. Fourth, the origin of the goods shall be determined in accordance. Baba, just because you told that it is manufactured in Sri Lanka, they will not go ahead and accept. They will go ahead and see whether the origin of the goods is from Sri Lanka or not. Basically, the goods should originate from Sri Lanka. Sir, how do we determine the origin? Baba, for the determination of origin is very important to allow concessional rate of duty. Sir, how do we determine that that it is originating? Basically, it is the origin of the goods is from a preferential area. How do we go ahead and determine the origin? Sir, if the goods are unmanufactured, basically the goods which you have imported are unmanufactured goods, means basically might be raw material. It should have been grown in that area. Basically, the goods should have been grown or produced in that preferential area. Secondly, if goods are fully manufactured in that country, we have gone ahead and imported some finished goods, then it should have been manufactured. It should have been manufactured. The goods should have been manufactured or produced or with unmanufactured material from that country. Basically, it has to be manufactured from the raw material of that country. Next, if partially manufactured in that country, final processes should have been. If we have gone ahead and imported some semi-finished goods, then Baba, final processes should have been completed in that country, or at least specified percentage of expenditure, some percentage of expenditure on those goods should have been incurred in that country. So basically, they are telling that, sir, whenever you want to claim preferential rate of duty, you have to go ahead and make a specific claim. Number 2, the goods should have been produced in that preferential area. Third, the area should have been notified as the preferential area. Baba, do remember in the exam. The fourth one is the origin of the goods shall be determined in accordance with the rules. And the rules, when you go ahead and see, the rules say that if goods are unmanufactured goods, the goods should have been grown in that area. If the goods are fully manufactured goods, Baba, It should have been manufactured from material which are produced in that area. Sir, if partially manufactured means semi-finished goods, then final processes should have been completed in that country, or at least specified percentage of value addition basically or expenditure should have been done in that country. Then Baba, you can go ahead and claim preferential rate of duty. So Baba, if you can't go ahead and claim preferential rate of duty, then apply standard rate. So basically, first of all, we'll have the value. On the value, we'll go ahead and apply basic custom duty either at standard rate or preferential rate. Preferential rate will be allowed subject to the fulfillment of the condition which I have explained you under section number 4. Sir, then I'll apply basic custom duty. Sir, where will the basic custom duty be given? Baba, in the exam, basic custom duty will be given in your question. You don't have to go ahead and remember. Next, now you will get the total. On this total, you will have to go ahead and claim CVD 3.1. Baba, CVD 3.1 has to be paid. CVD 3.1. Baba, CVD 3.1 basically it was applied earlier. Now also it is applied only on some specific goods. Basically, when you go ahead and produce goods in India, there is excise duty. Cost of production this much, and then excise duty. Indian goods ka price is this much. When you import the goods ka value is this much. No excise duty, imported goods were becoming cheaper. I hope everyone is able to understand. Imported goods, this is the value, this is the cost. Indian manufactured goods, this is the cost. In Indian manufactured goods, excise duty was levied. On imported goods, excise duty was not there. When excise duty was not there, Baba, this Indian domestic industry is told, sir, our goods are expensive, imported goods are cheaper. So people are buying cheaper products. So government went ahead and told, I can't go ahead and tell that I'll levy excise duty on imported goods, because if I tell I'll levy excise duty on imported goods, people will laugh at us. People will say excise duty is on goods which are manufactured in India. How can you go ahead and levy excise duty on imported goods? So government went ahead and told, okay Baba, we will name it as CVD 3.1. Basically it will be an excise duty only, but the name will be changed as CVD 3.1 and we will charge it on imported goods. So basically whenever goods are imported into India, CVD, countervailing duty, in order to countervail the effect of excise duty on domestic product. On domestic product we have excise duty. So in order to countervail the effect, we on imported goods, we will go ahead and levy CVD 3.1, which will be levied at the rate of which, so supposingly there is a calculator. On calculator 10% excise duty was levied in India earlier. On the imported goods also excise duty will be levied. If calculator is imported, excise duty will be levied at the rate of 10%, but the name will not be excise duty, the name will be CVD 3.1. I hope everyone is clear. But now in India, excise duty is not there because GST has come. Hence, CVD 3.1 is not applied on all the goods. It is only applied, levied on alcoholic liquor for human consumption. AL for HC means alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Baba, tobacco and tobacco products. And Baba, HP man. HP man. Sir, what is HP man? H for high speed diesel, P for Baba, for the 5 petroleum products. Do you remember? On which GST is not levied now. If GST is not levied, excise duty is levied. If excise duty is levied, CVD 3.1 is also levied. I hope everyone is clear. On all these 3 products, you will see that excise duty is also levied. In India now, after coming of GST, on these 3 products, excise duty is also levied. So Baba, all these 3 products, if you import, CVD 3.1 will be also levied. I hope everyone is clear. On alcoholic liquor, the rate of levy is as notified by the government. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, what is HP man? High speed diesel, P for petroleum crude, M for motor spirit, A for aviation turbine fuel, N for natural gas. These are the 5 petroleum products. Everyone over here. So, first value under section 14.1 or 14.2, then basic custom duty. The total will come. On the total, we will go ahead, if Baba, these are the products which is alcoholic liquor for human consumption, HP man or tobacco, then we will go ahead and levy CVD 3.1. Baba, CVD 3.1 on alcoholic liquor for human consumption will be as per the rate which is notified by the central government. On the other 2 products, it is the same rate of excise duty. Whatever rate of excise duty is there, the same rate of CVD 3.1 will be there. So sir, we will go ahead and charge CVD 3.1 and then we will have the total. Now this total which we have, on the total we go ahead and apply social welfare surcharge. Sir, social welfare surcharge. On the total we don't apply. Sorry. On the total we don't go ahead and apply. Social welfare surcharge is applied on the duties. On these two duties, whatever duties we have charged, basically on basic custom duty and Baba CBD 3.1, the duties which are there, on the duties we will go ahead and levy social welfare surcharge. Social welfare surcharge is levied at the rate of 10%. It is basically to provide for education, healthcare and social security. Remember one thing in the exam, if they ask you a small short note on social welfare surcharge, number one, social welfare surcharge was levied is levied under section number 110 of the Finance Act 2018, section number 110 of the Finance Act 2018, and secondly, it is levied at the rate of 10%. Thirdly, it is to provide and finance education, health and social security. I hope everyone is clear. Next, sir, once I go ahead and levy basic custom duty pay social welfare surcharge, CBD 3.1 pay social welfare surcharge. Social welfare surcharge will be levied on which amount, sir? It will be levied on this amount and this amount. Baba, social welfare surcharge is levied at the rate 10% on Baba basic custom duty and CBD 3.1. I hope everyone is clear. Next, sir, after this much is done, what is the next rate of the next item, sir? Then you will take the total. On the total, you will go ahead and levy CBD 3.5. Sir, CBD 3.5, Baba, CBD 3.5 is to countervail the effect of VAT sales tax. It is levied at the rate of 4% and it is now levied only on HP man. Sir, HP man, high speed diesel, petroleum crude, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel, natural gas. I hope everyone is clear. CBD 3.5 earlier was levied. I'll tell you why. On Indian goods, there was sales tax or VAT. On imported goods, there was no sales tax or VAT. So, in order to countervail the effect, basically in order to countervail the effect, the government, instead of levying sales tax and VAT on imported goods, they used to levy at the same rate CBD 3.5. However, now it is of not much use, only on one product, which is HP man, high speed diesel, petroleum crude, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel and natural gas. It is levied at the rate of 4%. I hope everyone is clear. It is levied at the rate of 4%. Sir, once I go ahead and charge CBD 3.5, then the total will come. The total pay, you will have to go ahead and levy other duties. Sir, what are the other duties which will be levied? Baba, other duties which are there. Number one, what is there is, okay, there are some duties which are there, which are levied additionally. Now, in that duty, number one, protective duty is there, but protective duty, no, it is levied over here only. If protective duty is levied, protective duty will be levied over here. However, much application you will not see. Much application of protective duty is not there. However, if the place in the table, if you want to see, protective duty shall be levied over here. Sir, what is protective duty? See, the remaining three duties which are there, these three duties shall be levied over here. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, can you please explain all the duties one by one? Yes, Baba, let's go ahead and understand. What is protective duty, Baba, everyone? Sir, first of all, who is the authority to levy protective duty? It is levied by central government. Who levies protective duty? It is levied by central government on recommendation from the Tariff Commission of India. Sir, why is it levied? It is levied to protect the interest of any industry established in India, and it's a permanent relief. I'll tell you what happens. Basically, India may supposingly this calculator is coming. In India, when this calculator is being produced and sold, it is sold at 100 rupees. When this calculator is coming from outside India, it is a fair import only. From outside India it came, custom duty was levied, and Baba, it should at least come to the level of 100. However, it is coming only to 90 rupees, even after paying custom duties also. So, government understood that if we are charging the custom duty which is little less, I hope everyone is able to understand. Basically, it was coming at 80 rupees. Supposing it was coming at 80 rupees, which is basically the fair import price only. At 80 rupees, the government went ahead and charged 10% duty, which was 8 rupees, and it came at 88 rupees in India. And when it is manufactured in India, after Indian taxes, everything, it is coming to 100 rupees. However, when you import, after levying all the duties also, it is still coming at 88. So, government understood that 12 rupees will have to go ahead and charge separately. So, government wanted to go ahead and protect the Indian industries by increasing the tariff only. The tariff rate, which was 10%, the government wants to increase the tariff rate to such a rate so that the rate basic custom duty when levied, it becomes 100 rupees, the cost of the calculator. So basically protective duty is levied to increase the basic custom duty. I hope everyone is able to understand. So it is levied by the central government on recommendation of the Tariff Commission of India. So Tariff Commission basically who decides the tariff rate on this calculator was 10%. The Tariff Commission went ahead and saw that 10% is not fine, sir. I think we should make it 22%. We should increase 12% more. So that 12% which the Tariff Commission is recommending, the 12% which the Tariff Commission is recommending, they will recommend the central government and central government will issue a notification. I hope everyone is clear. When is it levied? Basically to protect the interest of any industry established in India, and Baba, it's a permanent relief. It's a permanent relief, means permanently it is levied. Next, to protect, why is it levied? To protect the interest of any industry which is established in India. Baba, it can be for any industry, whether it is calculator, whether it is mobile phone, whatever industry is established in India. If Indian industries go ahead and tell the government, Tariff Commission that, sir, you see, on our mobile it is costing us 100 rupees, but when it is coming from outside India, even after applying basic custom duty on all duties, it is only coming to 90 rupees, 10 rupees, still you have to go ahead and increase the tariff. Then Baba, the Tariff Commission will recommend the central government and central government will issue a notification saying that from today onwards when calculator is imported, protective duty shall be imposed. I hope everyone is clear. Basically it is imposed on the recommendation of Tariff Commission. Sir, at what rate? Whatever rate they recommend. Next, sir, provisionally can they go ahead and apply? No, provisionally and all. Final duty has to be applied. Next, sir, maximum duration, Baba, till the time the Tariff Commission wants. Basically, it's a permanent relief, so it will go on unless the Tariff Commission goes ahead and says, no, Baba, we want to resign the notification, etc. Next, retrospectively, you can't go ahead and apply retrospectively. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, I have explained you the protective duty. Protective duty is basically applied on the recommendation of Tariff Commission by the central government. Sir, it is to protect the interest of any industry established in India. Sir, it's a permanent relief. Sir, rate will be notified, rate as recommended by the Tariff Commission, notified by the central government. Sir, provisional application is not there, retrospective you can't go ahead and apply. Sir, next, sir, you know why I am going ahead and telling you protective duty will come over here? Because protective duty is like that the basic custom duty should have been 24%. Supposingly, basic custom duty should have been 24%, but we are applying only 10%. Tariff Commission is telling, oh no, this is our mistake. We should actually apply 24%. So, Baba, they go ahead and apply 14% addition as protective duty, and so it comes over here only. I hope everyone is clear. Let's go ahead and understand the next one. Now, the next duty over here is the safeguard duty. Everyone, in your chart again, 1 minute, in your chart again. Now, what do you mean by safeguard duty? Sir, as the name suggests, safeguard means in order to safeguard the domestic industry. Sir, safeguard duty is levied by the central government. Baba, safeguard duty is also levied by the central government after carrying out detailed investigation. Baba, this detailed investigation is basically carried out by Director General of Safeguards. Director General of Safeguards is the person who goes ahead and carries out. So basically, I'll tell you what happens in safeguard. There will be one person, there will be domestic industries who will go ahead and complain the domestic Director General of Safeguards that, Baba, there is some goods which are coming into India at huge quantity. Basically, supposingly, in India, 100 units used to come of this calculator. Suddenly 500 units came, 1000 units came. Baba, increased import. The imports became so huge. Basically, demand is of this much unit, supplies of this much unit is okay. Supposingly, from outside India, 1000 units came, demand is this much, supply became this much. So, what was happening was domestic industries were seriously injured. Domestic industries told, sir, because of these huge imports coming into India, what is happening is we are not able to cope up. Sir, because there is lot of these calculators available in the market price is falling. The market price is falling. The customers are not paying. They are telling a lot of calculators are available. Sir, our stock which is there is available. So, our stock which is there is remaining. So, basically what is happening, safeguard may it is levied by the central government. Central government issues a notification after carrying out detailed investigation, and this investigation is carried out by Director General of Safeguards. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, safeguard is a method which government sometimes to give is the government gives some time, actually it will be gives some time to domestic industries to become more competitive. So, government is giving some more time to the domestic industries to become more competitive. This is to deal with fair imports, but where domestic industries are unable to deal with the imported product due to increased quantity, it's a temporary relief. So, I will tell you what happens. Calculators, 1000 units are coming into India. So, domestic industries went to Director General of Safeguards and told, sir, you see, demand is only of 100 units, 1000 units are coming from China. They are telling, sir, it is coming at, Director General will say it is coming at a fair price only, no. There is no unfair trade practice which China is applying over here. However, the problem is it is coming in huge quantity. You guys are not able to produce huge quantity, or Baba, the domestic industries are telling, sir, there is no demand only, or because these goods are coming in huge quantity, there is flood in the market, and so we have to go ahead and reduce the prices of our commodity. So, Director General, for a temporary relief, to understand that, okay, Baba, you guys, I'll give you some 5 years ka breathing space or 4 years ka breathing space. You guys and go ahead. You guys can go ahead and procure better machinery, procure everything, so that you guys can also go ahead and produce huge quantity. In order to give some time, the government imposes safeguard duty to protect serious injuries to domestic industries due to import in increased quantity. Safeguard duty is imposed. Now, there is something called a causal link. There is a causal link which has to be imposed. Causal link which has to be proven. Basically, what do you mean by causal link? Increased quantity and impact on domestic industries. Baba, cause and effect. Because of increased quantity, there has to be an effect on the domestic industries. Only then safeguard duty can be levied. I hope everyone is clear. There is something called a causal link. Causal, C-A-U as a L, causal link which has to be shown for safeguard duty to be imposed. So, what do you mean by causal link? Baba, causal link basically means cause and effect relationship. The cause of huge imports or increased import ka cause, because of that cause there has to be an injury to the domestic industry. Only then safeguard duty can be imposed. Sir, safeguard duty is basically whatever injury is happening to the domestic industry. In order to minimize that injury, the government will go ahead and tell what is the safeguard duty that will be imposed. Basically, whatever is the injury that is happening to the domestic industry, at that rate safeguard duty shall be imposed. Next, sir, provisionally can it be imposed? Yes, Baba. Today, if supposingly people have gone ahead and complained the Director General of Safeguards, he can't go ahead and today only apply this duty. He will have to call people, he will have to discuss with them. Basically, he will call, he will summon everyone. So, for the time being, provisionally he can go ahead and apply for a period of 200 till the time injury is not determined. Till the time he does not go ahead and determine how much is the actual injury because of increased import, he can go ahead and apply it for 200 days provisionally. Sir, what is the maximum duration? The maximum duration is 4 years, and Baba, it can be extended by further 6 years. Basically 4 plus 6, 10 years. Basically, safeguard duty can be imposed only for a maximum period of 10 years. Next, sir, retrospectively can it be imposed? Retrospectively, Baba, you cannot go ahead and impose this duty. Retrospective application of safeguard duty is not allowed. Retrospective effect cannot be given. Sir, along with this, I also want you guys to quickly go ahead and read 8B, which I have given in the additional chart. Basically, power of the central government to impose safeguard duty. Under that, I have gone ahead and told when safeguard duty will not be imposed. Basically, this can be a 3 marks question which they can ask you in the exam. Sir, what will be the exam question? They can go ahead and ask you, when will safeguard duty not be imposed? So, safeguard duty is not imposed whenever goods are imported from. Whenever an article is imported from a developing country and the share of import of that article from that country does not exceed 3% of the total import of that article into India. So, for an example, this pen is imported from a developing country. Baba, when the article is imported from a developing country means it is imported only from one developing country. So, Baba, for an example, this one, I'll go ahead and give you this example. If you see these examples over here, for an example, calculators. Baba, my calculator over here. Now, I'm telling calculator is imported from Thailand, China and Singapore. India is importing calculators from 3 countries. Thailand, China and Singapore. Now over here you will have to first see which is a developing country. Baba, developing country is a country which has been notified as a developing country in the official gazette. Basically government will go ahead and notify it as the developing country. So if you go ahead and import it from a developing country and the share of import is only up to 3%, but here the share of import is 60%. Baba, since the developing country but share of import exceeds 3%, Baba, it will not be exempted. Safeguard duty will be imposed. So safeguard duty is not applicable when, sir? Safeguard duty is not applicable when an article, for an example, I am telling calculator, an article is originating from a developing country. Be very careful. It has to be originating from a developing country and the share of import of that article from that country does not exceed 3% of the total import. So if I tell you in the example 60 plus 37 plus 3%, Baba, here first of all you will have to see that calculator is coming from 3 countries, okay, and Baba, it is originating from only one developing country. It is originating only from a developing country, but Baba, the share of import only if it is up to 3%, then safeguard duty will not come. Here the share of import is 60% and hence Baba, it is not exempted. Safeguard duty will be levied. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, 3% is here. No, but Baba, this is not a developing country. I hope everyone is clear. It has to be a developing country plus the share of import of that article from that country should be up to 3% only. Only then it will be exempt. But here it is not exempt. For an example, I have given one more example. Calculators are imported from 3 countries. 2 are developed. So Baba, no chance. Developed country, safeguard duty will be imposed. But if it is imported from a developing country means a country which is developing, not very developed country, it's a developing country. Basically a country which has been notified as a developing country, will take that only as the developing country. And Baba, share of import is 3%. Sir, both the criteria are satisfied. Developing country plus share of import is 3%. Then Baba, safeguard duty will not be levied, it will be exempted. I hope everyone is clear. When will safeguard duty not be imposed? Whenever an article is imported from a developing country and Baba, the share of import is up to 3%. I hope everyone is clear. Next, so it is telling when an article is originating from a developing country and the share of import of that article is from that country does not exceed 3% of the total import of that article into India. The second is when will safeguard duty not be imposed? When the article is originating from more than one developing country. Baba, now if the article is originating means it is coming from more than one developing country, means it is coming from 2 developing countries or 3 developing countries, then they are telling it will be exempted only if. So Baba, supposingly, I have given one more example. One article is originating from 2 developing countries, Singapore and Thailand. Basically, it is coming into India from 5 countries, but out of that there are 2 developing countries. Baba, the above wala, the exemption which was given was when an article is coming from only from one developing country. But supposingly, now this calculator is coming from 2 developing countries, more than one developing country or 3 developing country, then they are telling when the article is coming from more than one developing country. In my example, this is developed. Okay, forget it. More than one developing country. Yes, sir, it is coming from 2 developing country. Then Baba, when will it be exempt? It will be exempt when the aggregate of the import from developing countries, each with less than 3%. Sir, import share taken together does not exceed 9%. So in my example, if I tell you 3%, less than 3%. Oh, sir, both are less than 3%. What is the aggregate? Aggregate should be up to 9%, then it will be exempt. Sir, aggregate is only how much, sir? Sir, in the first 3 example, why have you not considered? See, first 3 example, this is developed. Developed countries we don't consider only. Developed country may always, whatever is the share of import, please go ahead and say it will not be exempt, safeguard duty will be imposed. Now we will see developing country. If you see there are 2 developing country over here, developing country 1 and 2. Then you will have to see both the developing country is the share of import less than 3%. It should be less than 3%. Yes, sir, it is 2.5 and 1%. If it is less than 3%, the next criteria to be satisfied is it should be aggregate should be up to 9% only. Sir, aggregate is only how much? 3.5%, and hence, sir, both the countries say when goods are coming, it will be exempted. I hope everyone is clear. Developing country, share of import less than 3% and aggregate up to 9%. Baba, I'll read out again with you guys. See over here. In the second criteria, the second point we are talking about, the article is originating from more than one developing country. Sir, if the article is originating from only one country, then Baba, I gave you the above two example. If it is originating only from one developing country, sir, it is originating only from one developing country, then we'll go ahead and see if the share of import is up to 3%, then it will be exempted. Sir, but it has to be a developing, okay, everyone listen, it has to be a developing country and share of import up to 3%. But here it is 60, so not exempted. Developing country, share of import up to 3%, so exempted. I hope everyone is clear. In the second one, the first one, now forget it. In the second one, they are telling when the goods are coming from more than one developing country, means two or more. So, in the second example, I have told the goods are coming from one developing country, two developing country. In this scenario, we'll go ahead and apply. Actually, these are provisos. We'll apply the second proviso, which says when you read 8b, this is a proviso which is given over there. The article is originating from more than one developing country. Yes, sir. In the example, it is coming from more than one developing country. And sir, the aggregate of the import from developing country each with less than 3%. Sir, is each with less than 3%? Yes, sir. And Baba, the aggregate does not exceed, import share taken together does not exceed 9% of the total import. Sir, what is the total? 3.5%. And if it is 3.5%, then both will be exempted. So, if article is coming from Singapore, one person has imported, and from Thailand another person has imported, Baba, both will not be levied with safeguard duty. I'll give you one more example here. First of all, sir, developed country, developed country, developed country. Forget it. Not exempt, not exempt, not exempt. Sir, now developing country. Sir, more than one developing country. 4 developing countries say goods are coming. The same article calculator is coming from 4 developing country. Will it be exempt when it is coming from 4 countries? We'll have to see. Sir, when developing country and Baba share of import is 3%. Sir, it should be less than 3%. See here everyone, less than 3%. So when it is 3%, it is not exempted. I hope everyone is clear. Developing country but not less than 3%, and hence it is not exempt. Sir, the next is developing country 2.5, exempt. Developing country 2, developing country 2. Here to say exempt, you will have to see, sir, okay, all the 3 countries say it is less than 3%. But aggregate should also be up to 9%. Sir, aggregate is only 2, 4, 6, 7%, and hence we'll say all the 3 countries say when goods are coming, it will be exempted. I hope everyone is clear. I have given one more example. Everyone here, develop, develop, develop. Sir, not exempt, not exempt, not exempt. Then developing, 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 developing. Okay, sir. Here, if I tell you, sir, 10%, 10%, then what will you say? Sir, 10%, then developing, but share is 3% or above, and hence it will not be exempted. When it is 3% or above, it will not be exempted. Sir, 2.5, very good. Sir, developing, 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 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Sir, but aggregate, if you see, how much is the aggregate? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 9.5%. Sir, gone. It is 8, 9.5%. It should have been, okay, all the 4 countries are developing, and Baba, it is less than 3%, but it aggregate should be up to 9%. Here aggregate is 9.5, and hence all the 4 will not be exempted. I hope everyone is clear and the examples were clear. So, sir, when one article is coming from a developing country, only one developing country, then up to 3%, then it will be exempt. But if it is coming from more than one developing country, you will have to see less than 3% and aggregate taken together up to 9%, then only it will be exempted, otherwise it will not be exempt. I hope everyone is clear. The next is article imported by a 100% export oriented unit or an SEZ shall also be exempted. Baba, if an SEZ is going ahead and importing an article, or an 100% export oriented unit is going ahead and importing an article, on that safeguard duty will not be imposed. However, sir, unless specifically made applicable, so if in the notification government have told that this notification safeguard duty shall be applicable to an EOU or an SEZ also, then Baba, it will be applicable. Or an EOU or an SEZ have gone ahead and imported, but say in a case or the article imported is either cleared for domestic tariff area or used in the manufacture of any goods that are cleared in the domestic tariff area. EOU imported an article and cleared it into the domestic tariff area, or EOU imported an article, manufactured goods, and those goods, EOU is an export oriented unit. It should go ahead and export. If it clears into the domestic tariff area for the goods which it is clearing in the domestic tariff area, Baba, it will have to go ahead and pay safeguard duty. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, when will safeguard duty not be applicable? Sir, when an article is originating from a developing country and Baba, the share of import of that article is only up to 3%. Sir, when an article is originating from more than one developing country, then sir, the aggregate of import from developing countries, each with less than 3%, aggregate is only up to 9%. It does not exceed 9%, then it will be exempt, sir. If an article is imported by a 100% EOU or an SEZ, then also it will be exempted. Next. Other duties you will have to go ahead and charge. Number one is safeguard duty under 8B, which we have just now learned. This one. Sir, what is the next duty we will have to go ahead and charge? Baba, the next duty which will be charged is CVD on subsidized article. Baba, CVD on subsidized article, you can go ahead and write it and keep over here. CVD on subsidized article is under section number 9 of the Custom Tariff Act. Let's go ahead and understand. CVD on subsidized article. Sir, who will go ahead and charge CVD on subsidized article? Baba, basically it will be levied by central government. All the duties are levied by the central government. However, sir, who will go ahead and do the investigation? Again, the investigation is done by the same person, Director General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties. His full name. They will not ask you in the exam, but just for a knowledge. The name is Anti-Dumping, Director General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties. What will happen in case of subsidized article is basically, supposingly, China is telling that if you send goods to India, we will give you subsidy. The government of China is telling that you go ahead and send the goods to India. One manufacturer in China is telling, Chinese government is telling this manufacturer, hey, you send these goods to India, we will go ahead and give you government grant, we will go ahead and waive off your taxes, we will go ahead and whatever taxes you have to pay to the government will waive off. We will not collect tax from you. Baba, if government is giving any kind of subsidy to a person for sending goods to India, Baba, Indian government, in order to go ahead and countervail the effect, will go ahead and charge CVD, which is basically CVD on subsidized article. I hope everyone is clear. Some countries also resort to a method of subsidization of their export to other country. Subsidization is a result of government grant. Whenever government will go ahead and grant. For an example, this calculator is manufactured in China at 100 rupees. The Chinese government is telling, hey, you sell off to India at 80 rupees, 20 rupees, we will go ahead and give you the grant. When 20 rupees the government of that country is giving grant, Indian government will impose subsidy 20 rupees on this article. I hope everyone is clear. Next, to guard against situation arising out of unfair trade practice. This is unfair. This is unfair trade practice. Import from a territory which pays subsidy exportation of article into India. When some country pays subsidy for export of article into India, Indian government will charge anti-subsidy duty. Basically, it is also known as anti-subsidy duty. I hope everyone is clear. Next. Sir, what will be the CVD? Again, you will have to go ahead and impose one causal link. What do you mean by causal link? There has to be a causal link. What do you mean by causal link, everyone? Causal link means cause. Cause is the subsidy. There has to be a causal link between the subsidy given by that country and an injury to the domestic industry. I hope everyone is clear. When the government imposes subsidy, government sees that there has to be a link between subsidy given by that country and Baba, cause and effect relationship. The subsidy given by that country and an injury to the domestic industry. Basically, CVD is subsidy on imported article or injury, whichever is lower. If there is any injury to the injury margin, whichever is lower. However, for your exam purpose, you don't have to worry. They will go ahead and give you directly the subsidy amount. Next, sir, duties may be imposed provisionally till the time subsidy is not determined. Sir, can I go ahead and apply provisionally? Yes, Baba, duties can be charged provisionally. How many years, sir? 5 years. Can I go ahead and extend? Yes, sir, 5 years. Once it gets over, Further extension can be further 5 years. Sir, can I go ahead and extend further? Yes, by further 5 years. Baba, 5 years ka extension can be done by the government. Next, sir, can we go ahead and impose retrospectively? Can we go ahead and charge the duty retrospectively? Yes, Baba, retrospective duty can be charged up to 90 days from the date of the notification. Today, if the government issues a notification imposing duty provisionally, duty can be imposed from a prior date also. Basically, 90 days prior also duty can be imposed. Now, over here, if you go ahead and see, sir, where will I go ahead and charge and CBD? Sir, you will go ahead and charge over here, other duties made. Sir, I would like to go ahead and discuss little more about the subsidy. CBD on subsidized article, section number 9. Now, when you go ahead and see CBD on subsidized article, when will a subsidy be deemed to exist? When will we go ahead and say that there is a subsidy which is given by the government? Basically, the government of that country should give some grant, etc. So, it says a subsidy shall be deemed to exist. When will a subsidy be deemed to exist? So, when will we say that a subsidy is existing? Basically, when will we say that there is a subsidy which has been given? Basically, when there is a financial contribution by the government or any public body within the union territory, within the territory of the exporting country, where there is a direct fund transfer. The government is giving fund. Supposingly, I am in China. Chinese government is giving me direct funds to go ahead and make those goods and export. There is a direct fund transfer, including grant, loan, equity by the government. Government is giving me fund. Government revenue, or Baba, where government revenue that is otherwise due, which I have to pay to the government, might be taxes, are foregone and not collected. Government is telling, hey, leave it, you have to pay some taxes. No, Ramesh, don't pay taxes. Baba, not paying something means I am saving something. Basically, government is giving me subsidy in that form. Next, a government provides goods or services other than general infrastructure. Baba, other than providing roads, etc., government is giving me some special goods and service and telling, make these goods, and Baba, when you are making these goods and supplying to India, I will go ahead and give you these goods and services free of cost other than general infrastructure. So, government is giving me some goods and services free of cost other than general infrastructure. Next, a government grants or maintains any form of income or price support. Basically, government is going ahead and giving me grants or maintains any form of income or Baba price support. Basically, they are giving me some price support, etc., which operates directly or indirectly to increase export of any article from its territory. Basically, government is giving support so that this article is exported in huge quantity from their country. I hope everyone is clear. Next, now what happened? Chinese government went ahead and gave support, grants, subsidies, etc. to its people, and Baba, they started exporting to our country. We came to know that there is a subsidy which is given in that country. So, Baba, we saw that there is a link between giving of subsidy and injury, and hence we went ahead and charged anti-subsidy duty. When we went ahead and charged anti-subsidy duty, what the Chinese person did, instead of sending that goods directly into India, for an example, he was going ahead and sending this calculator into India. He started not directly sending this calculator, because when he sends calculator, on calculator, Indian government has told anti-subsidy duty will be imposed. On this calculator, anti-subsidy duty will be imposed. So, what he will go ahead and do is, he will try to find out means how he can circumvent, the duty, basically how we can avoid the duty, right everyone? So, what are the various ways of circumvention, and if there is any circumvention of duty, what will the Indian government do? So, Baba, ways that would constitute circumvention means, if he goes ahead and does this, means what he will do, no, instead of sending this calculator in assembled form, he will send this calculator in piece form. Basically, body he will send separately, the inner units he will send separately, the buttons he will send separately, or might be we have gone ahead and put subsidy on goods which are imported from China. He will first send it to his Dubai unit. From Dubai, it will come to India. So, Baba, all these are basically circumvention, how to surpass the duty. So, Baba, what are the ways that would constitute circumvention? Circumvention basically means a clever way of overcoming something. Basically, they will try to find out a clever way to overcome the duty, basically not to pay anti-subsidy duty. What will he do? By altering the description, instead of sending this as calculator, he might go ahead and send it as digital book. Some other name he has gone ahead and given. Description he has changed, name he has changed, or composition he has changed of the article. Baba, on which duty shall be imposed. Duty has been imposed. If Baba calculator by duty has been imposed, he will give this as a separate name, or Baba he will go ahead and change the name or composition of it and send it to India, so that when it comes to India, we'll say, oh, this is a digital typewriter. For an example, this is a digital typewriter. He has changed the name of it and sent. So Baba, in that scenario, that will be considered as circumvention. Or by importing of such article in unassembled or disassembled. Baba, he has gone ahead and sent this calculator in disassembled, unassembled. Basically, he has broken into piece. Once he is sending the cabinet, once he is sending the buttons, etc. Disassembled form he is sending. So he is sending, these not calculator, these are parts of calculators, parts which are coming, right? So these are ways of circumvention. By changing the country of origin of export, he will, from China he will export it to Dubai, and from Dubai it will come, because we have imposed duty on goods which are coming from China. So he will send it from Dubai. He is trying to circumvent. Or in any other manner where the countervailing duty so imposed is rendered ineffective. Baba, these all are to be considered as circumvention, and if there is any circumvention which is done, in such a case investigation be carried out by the central government, and then CVD shall be imposed on such articles also. So Baba, if he is going ahead and sending it as digital small typewriter, then Baba, on this calculator by duty was there. On this article also government will go ahead and start imposing duty. I hope everyone is clear. Baba, there can be many ways of circumvention. Again, this can be a question in the exam. One question in the exam which they can go ahead and ask you is, sir, when will a subsidy deemed to exist? When the government of that country goes ahead and gives grants, government revenues are being foregone, Baba, government provides some goods and services, Baba, etc. Then, sir, what are the ways of circumvention? The ways of circumvention can be many. Instead of sending this as calculator, he can go ahead and change the name, he can go ahead and change the description, he can go ahead and change the composition. Baba, that will be a circumvention. And Baba, if by importing in unassembled form, disassembled form, sir, by changing the country of origin, or any other manner, which basically renders the duty ineffective, will be treated as circumvention. And if there is any circumvention, government will go ahead and impose duty on that unassembled, disassembled, name change product. Government will go ahead and impose the duty. Investigation will be carried out and CVD will be imposed on such article. I hope everyone is clear. Here we are done with safeguard duty. Baba, please come back. Next. So sir, all other duties may first will charge safeguard duty. Sorry, we are done with CVD on subsidized article. We will charge safeguard duty. We will charge CVD on subsidized article. We will also charge anti-dumping duty. Sir, what do you mean by anti-dumping duty? China say people are dumping goods into India. What do you mean by dumping goods? Dumping means dumping is an act of basically, dumping means throwing scrap, etc. So what was happening? Supposingly this pen which is there is manufactured in China, 10 lakh pieces which are lying with them. The person who has this product, 10 lakh pieces are lying with them. What he wants to, he just wants to clear them off. So what he is doing is 100 rupees ka product in India, he is dumping it off into India at 50 rupees only. Baba, actually the cost of this product is 100 only for him, but he is dumping into India as if it is a scrap at 50 rupees only, so that the Indian domestic industries which are there, they are overloaded with the dump, they die. Once they die, this Chinese person or this person from China will increase the prices of those goods, and he will start charging, Baba, and he will start charging more later. I hope everyone is clear. So that domestic industries die. Now, domestic industries who are producing this pen will not be able to compete with him. All domestic industries will die, and later he will go ahead and increase the price. So what is dumping? So Baba, who imposes dumping? Anti-dumping duty is imposed by central government again on an investigation which is carried out by the Director General, Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties. His full name is Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties. Sir, what is dumping? Dumping is an act done by the exporter. He will dump goods into India. We will impose anti-dumping duty. I hope everyone is clear. Dumping is an act done by the exporter by selling the goods at very low price for some time, so that the domestic industries cannot compete, and they thereby destroy them, and later price is raised again. Later he will go ahead and raise the price again. These are as a result of unfair trade practice. It's an unfair trade practice. It is not allowed. Next. What is anti-dumping? Anti-dumping measure, we go ahead and protect our industries by anti-dumping measure taken by the government to protect industries against the injury caused. See, again there has to be a causal relation. What do you mean by causal relation? Causal relation means between dumping and injury there has to be a relation. Sir, he is dumping into India, but we are not being injured. There is no injury which is happening to any industry in India. Then Baba, why will government go ahead and impose any anti-dumping duty? So Baba, there has to be again a causal relation, cause and effect relationship. When they are dumping, because of the dumping there has to be an injury. Then government will impose Baba duty, which is margin of dumping and injury, whichever is lower. I hope everyone is able to understand this causal relation. What is the causal relation? Causal relation means cause and effect. Because of dumping, there has been injury. So we'll have to see how much is the dumping. We'll have to see how much is the injury. Whichever is lower, we'll go ahead and charge anti-dumping duty that much. To guard against situation arising out of unfair trade practice, anti-dumping duty is imposed where any article is exported to India at less than its normal value. Everyone listen. This person in China, everyone understand. This person in China, he is manufacturing and selling in China, normal price, normal value of this product is 100 rupees. In China, he is selling at 100. He is exporting. When he is exporting, Baba will take X factory price. Will always take X factory price. 100 rupees X factory price. For an example, normal value X factory is 100 rupees. Baba, when he is selling to India, X factory price, he is selling at 50 only. Don't you think he is dumping? That is known as the export price. Export price. Sir, what is the difference between these two? This is known as margin of dumping. So simple everyone. People don't get confused at all. So simple. What is margin of dumping? Sir, this Chinese person is dumping. Sir, he is selling in China at 100 and he is exporting at 50. Margin of dumping is 50. Sir, and because of the dumping, what is the injury happening in India? In India, sir, this is okay. This is okay. This is like this only, but this is China. Okay, Baba. Example, China only this, and this is India. So in India, what is happening? In India, domestic industries are selling this product at supposedly 100 rupees. Domestic industries are also selling at 100 rupees. When he exported in India, it came, basic custom duty, etc. Everything was levied. Basic custom duty was levied, 20 rupees, and Baba SWS supposedly 10 rupees, everything levied 30 rupees. So 50 plus 30, it became 80 rupees. Now you tell me, what is this? This is the basically injury. Indian industries are telling, sir, this product has reached India, the landed value. Landed price of the product is 80 rupees, and sir, fair selling price in India by the domestic industries of India is 100 rupees. So Indian industries ka fair selling price, the fair selling price of Indian industries is 100 rupees. And Baba, this product 50 rupees may it came plus 30 rupees, whatever duties etc. was levied, and it landed in India at 80. Sir, because of dumping, injury to Indian industries is 20 rupees. Now you tell me, what will be the anti-subsidy which will be levied? Government will go ahead and levy subsidy which will be lower of 50 or 20. Which is the lower of what? These two. This is known as the injury margin. This is known as the margin of dumping. So Baba, which is lower? 20 rupees. So anti-dumping duty will be levied at the rate of 20. I hope everyone is clear. Everyone here. What do you mean by margin of dumping? Baba, margin of dumping, that country ka normal selling price and that country say export price, whatever is the difference is known as margin of dumping. Sir, what do you mean by injury? Because of the dumping, how much is the injury? Because of the dumping, how much is the injury? Everyone, because of the dumping, how much is the injury? In India, the injury is only 20 rupees. So Baba, 20 or 50? 20 rupees. Government will go ahead and impose 20 rupees ka anti-dumping duty. I hope everyone is clear. Because if they go ahead and impose 50 rupees anti-dumping, means outside the product which is coming will become 130. No one will buy outside India ka product. Government have to maintain parity. Next. So over here, sir, anti-dumping duty will be margin of dumping which is normal value minus export price or injury margin whichever is lower. I hope everyone is clear. Baba, always remember safeguard duty is also subsidy is also subsidy on imported goods or or injury margin, whichever is lower. Next, anti-dumping duty may be imposed provisionally for how many months? 6 months. Okay, sir. 5 years maximum extension. Baba, no limit. 5 years plus 5 years plus 5 years. Government can go on till the time there is a dumping which is existing. Next, sir, can it be applied retrospectively? Yes, Baba, up to 90 days from the date of notification being issued by the government. Next. So, sir, I will go ahead and charge anti-dumping duty over here, and Baba, the total will come. Let's go ahead and read little about anti-dumping duty. Everyone over here, I have already explained you about anti-dumping duty. Anti-dumping duty is under 9A. Sir, how do we calculate anti-dumping duty? Anti-dumping duty is lower of margin of duty, margin of dumping or injury margin. Margin of dumping or injury margin. What is margin of dumping? I'll explain once again. Everyone listen. This is USA. This is India. US में one person went ahead and he is selling in US. Normal value in the US is 100 rupees. He is exporting to India at supposedly 60 rupees. What is the margin of dumping? He is trying to dump 40 rupees. So margin of dumping is 40. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, when these goods reach India, India में 20 rupees custom duties is charged, and Baba, the landed value is 80 rupees. Landed value is 80 rupees. Sir, fair selling price of the Indian industries is, sir, 100 rupees. So margin of injury margin to the domestic industries is only 20 rupees. Injury margin or margin of dumping, whichever is lower, so you will go ahead and charge only 20 rupees as anti-dumping duty. I hope everyone is clear. The same thing has been explained with the help of a formula which people feel is very difficult. Nothing. Everyone here. Margin of dumping, normal value minus export price. First of all, everyone here, what do you mean by normal value? I had already explained. Normal value is normal selling price in the export country. Okay, sir. Export price, sir, this is the export price at the price at which he is exporting from his country. Sir, margin of dumping means this minus this. This is the margin of dumping. Okay, sir, done. Normal value, export price. I have already explained it to you. Sir, what do you mean by injury margin? Injury margin means India mein what is the fair selling price of the domestic industry is 100 rupees. And Baba, what is the landed value? Landed value means export price, whatever is there, plus all the basic custom duty and SWS. Basically, you will have to take CIF plus basic custom duty plus SWS. I have already given over there. That will give you the landed value. Whatever is the difference is only 20 rupees. So lower if this 2 is 20. Over, answer is over. Anti-dumping duty will be either 50, 40 or 20. Which is the lower one? 20. So you will go ahead and charge anti-dumping duty at the rate 20. I hope everyone is clear. Let's go ahead and understand the next one. Sir, but what happens? Normal value when you take, you will take selling price of the article in the domestic market. Basically, domestic market mein how much is he selling at? Sir, if supposing he is not selling in the domestic market, then if he is not selling in the domestic market, then export price of like article to third country. Baba, US might be sending the same article to another country, might be UK. At what price is he selling to UK? That price you have to take. Next. Sir, if that is also not there, then you have to take whatever is the cost of production plus reasonable administrative selling expenses plus profit. Whatever is his cost of production, reasonable expenses, profit, etc. You will have to add. Basically, you will have to see what is his cost. Next. Plus some profit. So that will give you the normal value. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, export price, you will have to take the price of the article from the exporting country. Basically, when he is exporting country say export price you will have to take. Sir, if that is unreliable or unavailable, then sir, then price at which the imported article are first resold to an independent buyer, basically that price has to be taken. Sir, injury margin I have already explained you, fair selling price of the domestic industry or the landed value, the difference between both of them minus the landed value of the dumped article. Sir, date of commencement of anti-dumping duty. This was a question which was there in your ICA material, so I have made it as a summary and put here. Sir, what is the date of commencement of anti-dumping duty? The date of commencement is the date the government goes ahead and publishes the notification in the official gazette, right everyone? Sir, when will anti-dumping duty commence? So it says when no provisional duty is imposed, means final duty is imposed. Okay, the date of publication of the notification imposing anti-dumping duty in the official gazette. Okay, sir. Where provisional duty is imposed, the date of publication of the notification imposing provisional duty in the official gazette. Sir, date of anti-dumping duty is what? When final duty is imposed, the date of publication in the official gazette. When provisional duty is imposed, the date when that notification imposing provisional duty is published in the official gazette. When anti-dumping duty is imposed retrospectively from a date prior to the date of imposition of provisional duty, then Baba, what is the date of commencement of anti-dumping duty? The date of commencement of anti-dumping duty is the date, such date identified retrospectively, basically prior date as may be notified in the notification imposing anti-dumping duty retrospectively, but not beyond 90 days from the date of notification. I hope everyone is clear. This can again be a small MCQ or a small question, 3 marks question in the exam. Next, sir, can there be a circumvention? Yes, Baba. The same which we have learned over here, Baba, everyone here, the same ways of circumvention of CVD, the same ways of circumvention can be used for anti-dumping duty also. And if there is a circumvention of anti-dumping duty, Baba, government can go ahead and impose duty on such article also. I hope everyone is clear. What we have learned over here, ways of circumvention of CVD, you can go ahead and learn ways of circumvention of ADD. The same thing will apply over here also. I hope everyone is clear. Next, sir, no anti-dumping duty on article imported by whom? EOU. But sir, if EOU is importing, there is no anti-dumping duty, but it can be imposed if specifically the notification is made applicable to EOU, or Baba, EOU after importing has gone ahead and cleared in the domestic tariff area. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, one more thing over here which is there is refund of anti-dumping duty, refund. And section number 9 AA deals with it. Not very important part for your exam, but still read it and go once. Where an importer proves to the satisfaction of the central government what happened when anti-dumping duty was imposed, supposedly on 1st of January. Now 31st of December when he is importing, actually what has happened, earlier there was dumping duty which was there, anti-dumping duty was imposed. Now the exporter has become a good boy and he is not dumping into India, but still there was some anti-dumping duty which was charged. So importer can go ahead and tell the government, he can prove to the satisfaction of the government that Baba, yes, see, the exporter now he is not dumping into India, please don't go ahead and charge the dumping duty, whichever is charged, please give me the refund. So Baba, government can go ahead and give him the refund, but refund which will always be subject to unjust enrichment. Let's go ahead and read the next one. So sir, till now what did we learn? Sir, till now we learned value under section number 14.1 or 14.2 has to be taken. Sir, I'll go ahead and charge basic custom duty. Preferential rate of duty can also be charged. Next, sir, for preferential rate of duty, 4 condition has to be satisfied. Total will come. Then I'll apply CVD 3.1, which is applicable only on 3 products: alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Sir, it is also applied on tobacco and tobacco product and HP man. Sir, it is equivalent to the excise duty which is levied on like article. However, in case of alcoholic liquor, it is the rate notified by the central government. Sir, total will come. SWS will be imposed on this and this amount, and then sir, total will come. On that, we will go ahead and charge CVD 3.5, which is maximum at the rate of 4%, and it is only on HP man now. Next, total will come. On that, other duties which I have told you, first is safeguard duty under 8B. Then I have told you CVD under section number 9, which is CVD on subsidized article. Then Baba, anti-dumping duty. I have also told you how to go ahead and calculate anti-dumping duty. Sir, can you please do one example on anti-dumping duty? Yes, Baba, see here. Mr. Ram imported products from US weighing 1000 kgs with CIF 50,000. Exchange rate on the date of presentation of bill of entry is equal to rupees 70. Basic custom duty at the rate of 10% applicable on the goods. Okay, sir. As per the government notification, anti-dumping duty has been imposed on these goods. Okay, sir. Anti-dumping duty is the difference between fair selling price of the goods, that is USD 70 rupees per kg, and the landed value. Okay, they are telling anti-dumping duty has been imposed and fair selling price is at the rate of 70 rupees per kg minus the landed value. So, sir, fair selling price we will go ahead and find out. Sir, 1000 kgs have come, 1000 kgs, 70 rupees US dollar price has been given, $70 per kg into rupees 70. It will give 49 lakh rupees, sir. Fair selling price of those goods which have come into India, Indian domestic, if they are domestic industries, if they are selling, they will sell at 49 lakh. Landed value, sir, how do we calculate? Landed value is CIF plus basic custom duty plus SWS. I hope you guys remember. Sir, CIF, how do we go ahead and find out? US dollar 50,000 into 70 rupees will give you 35 lakh. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, 35 lakh pe basic custom duty 3.5 lakh, SWS 35,000, it gives us 38 lakh 85,000. Sir, 38 lakh 85,000 is what is the landed value? Fair selling price in India is 49 lakh. Sir, it means 10 lakh 15,000 has to be imposed as anti-dumping duty on Mr. Ram. When Mr. Ram has imported these goods, government will go ahead and impose 10 lakh 15,000. This is some kind of question which they generally go ahead and ask in the exam. Very simple, Baba, don't worry. Next. Sir, then I go ahead and charge anti-dumping duty, total will come. This total pay, since now we don't have excise duty is gone, sales tax is gone, VAT is gone, what do we go ahead and charge? We charge GST. So we will go ahead and impose GST. Total value, Baba, GST, IGST, we'll go ahead and charge IGST under section number 37. IGST is charged under section number 37 of the Custom Tariff Act on the value which is determined under 38. Baba, custom duty, IGST is charged at the rate under section number 37 at the rate which is told at on the value which is told under 38. IGST is charged under 37 on the value which is told under section number on the assessable value determined under section number 38. Sir, 38 talks about this only. On this, we will go ahead and charge IGST. Sir, IGST is basically, we have already known, IGST is the rate. Whatever rate has been notified, supposingly calculators come. In India, the IGST rate on calculator is 12%. When calculators come from outside India, we will go ahead and charge 12%. Sir, if supposingly car is coming from outside India, on car along with IGST, GST compensation cess is also there. GST compensation cess is charged under section number 39 of the Custom Tariff Act at the rate, supposingly your car 28% cess is there, Baba, 28% GST compensation cess will also be charged on imported articles. Sir, on what value? On the value which is determined under section number 310. I hope everyone is clear. So, Baba, listen, IGST is charged under section number 37 on the value determined under 38. Okay. GST compensation cess is charged under section number 39 on the value which is determined under section number 310. 310 talks about this value only. On this value, we will charge IGST. On this value, we will go ahead and charge GST compensation cess and we get the total. I hope everyone is clear. Now, let's go ahead and next. So, Baba, all these duties which are there, basic custom duty, CVD 31, SWS 310, 35, all other duties which are there, IGST, GST compensation cess, all these are charged as duties of custom. When they tell you in the exam, please go ahead and tell how much is the total custom duty. You will have to add all of them and then tell them the total custom duties which are levied. I hope everyone is clear. Although they are named as IGST, GST compensation cess, etc., they are duties of custom only. They are wearing the clothes of custom duties. I hope everyone is clear. Now one thing which I want to explain you. Now, sometimes what happens whenever goods are imported, people go ahead and transfer them to the warehouse, and from the warehouse goods are being sold. In that scenario, IGST when it is levied, will it be levied under value under 38? No, Baba. Sometimes what happens, supposingly goods are being imported, this is India, goods are imported into India. Baba, the goods get transferred to the warehouse. They are transferred to the warehouse, and Baba, this person who has imported these goods, he goes ahead and transfers the bill of lading to another person. A supposingly transfers the bill of lading to B. Now what will happen? He had actually gone ahead and imported the goods at 1 lakh rupees. He went ahead and sold the goods to B at 2 lakh rupees. Now when the B will go to clear these goods, I hope you guys remember, under GST, bond to bond transfer was exempted. On this, GST will not come, but under customs, IGST will be levied on 2 lakh rupees. I hope everyone is clear. When he goes to clear the goods from the warehouse, the IGST shall be levied on 2 lakh rupees. So, Baba, if supposingly when we go ahead and determine the value under section number 3.8. It is coming as 1.5 lakh. Baba, they will go ahead and levy. They will go ahead and levy not on 1.5 lakh or 2 lakh, whichever is higher. So it says when value of goods sold for the purpose of calculating IGST, bond to bond transfer, they are telling value of such goods. What will be the value of such goods? The value of such goods will either be the value which is determined under 3.8 or Baba the transaction value. Basically, the value determined under 3.8 or transaction value of such goods, whichever is higher. I hope everyone is clear. So whenever there is a bond to bond transfer, sir, on what value IGST shall be levied? Or Baba, in fact, in case of high seas sale also, you will have to levy you will have to go ahead and apply the same formula. IGST shall be levied either on the value which is determined under 3.8 or Baba 3.8, supposing the value is coming 1.5 lakh and Baba this guy had actually gone ahead and sold these goods at 2 lakh to him, then Baba or 2 lakh, whichever is higher. 2 lakh, no? So IGST shall be levied on 2 lakh over here. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, supposingly goods are sold in part. So for the part, you will go ahead and charge IGST on value which is under 3.8. For the part, supposingly 10 lakh ka goods were imported. 10 lakh ka goods were imported. Only 5 lakh rupees ka goods are sold which were there in the warehouse. Remaining 5 lakh ka goods are not sold when they were in the warehouse. In that scenario, they are telling if goods are sold in part, higher of proportionate value of 3.8. Basically, you will take 5 lakh rupees and Baba transaction value whichever is higher of. Or sir, if sales is done multiple times, sir, supposingly this is India, goods are imported, transferred to the warehouse, goods are lying in the warehouse. Sir, I transfer to Ram, Ram transfer to Shyam, Shyam transfer to Radha. Sir, when Radha will go to clear, whatever was the price which was sold to Radha, 1 lakh rupees ka goods were sold to him at 2 lakh, he sold at 3, she bought at 4, Baba, IGST shall be levied on 4 lakh rupees. I hope everyone is clear, either on the value under 3.8 or 4 lakh, whichever is higher. So they are telling if sales is done multiple times, last transaction value shall be considered. Sir, if supposingly I sold only half of the goods, whatever goods were lying in the godown, only half were sold. So for the half, we will take the transaction value or 3.8 ka value, whichever is higher. For the remaining half, which I have not sold, I am only going to clear. For them, the value will be under value under section number 3.8. I hope everyone is clear. Next, sir, same in case of GST compensation cess also. In case of GST compensation cess also, compensation cess will be allowed. Compensation cess will be levied. GST compensation cess in case of bond to bond transfer. If the goods are in the warehouse and I have sold it, it will be levied on the value under 310, which is this value. Supposingly this value is coming to 1.5 lakh and I have sold the goods at 2 lakh rupees. GST compensation cess shall be levied on 310 ka value or 2 lakh, whichever is higher. I hope everyone is clear. And sir, it will always be levied on the last transaction value. And if there are if partially it is sold, on partially you will go ahead and levy on 3.8 value or transaction value, whichever is higher. Sir, on the partial amount on the value under 3.8. Sir, please explain with an example now. Everyone here, listen. Mr. Ram imported 50,000 ka goods. Ram deposited the goods in a bonded warehouse on 1st of February. Sir, value is 50,000. Ram sells the goods on 1st April to Shyam for 2 lakh. 2 lakh. Okay, sir. Who files an ex-bond bill of entry on 30th April? Basically, Shyam is going ahead and clearing. Sir, transaction value is 2 lakh. Basic custom duty is 10%. First levy 10%. Okay, sir. Then IGST is 12%. No problem. I will go ahead and on 55,000. Now 5,000 pay, 500 rupees will come, 55,500. This is the value under section number 3.8. Yes or no, everyone? Can you tell me what is the transaction value? Sir, value under section number 3.8 is 55,500. Transaction value is 2 lakh. Because this is a bond to bond transfer, when the goods were in the warehouse, it was sold, we will go ahead and take whichever is higher. Which is higher? 2 lakh. 2 lakh pay 12%. 24,000 will be charged, and Baba, the total value will come to 79,500. So can you tell me what is the total custom duty which has been levied? First of all, basic custom duty 500 rupees, Baba, IGST 24,000. So total custom duty is 24,500 and 5,000, 29,500. I will go ahead and twist the example little. I will tell you, supposingly, these goods are half sold in the warehouse, they were sold half, and Baba half were sold. So for an example, only 25,000 rupees ka goods were sold at 2 lakh, remaining 25,000 ka goods were not sold. Then can you go ahead and do the sum, sir? Yes, let's go ahead and do the sum when only half of the goods were sold. Sir, half of the goods means I will go ahead and do half separate calculation, half separate calculation. I'll say 25,000 and 25,000. Okay, sir. Next. Sir, basic custom duty 10%, 2500, 2500. Okay, sir. Next. So it will come to 27,500. Everyone, you have to participate with me. Next, quickly. Who does it quick? 27,500. 10% SWS. On this 10% means 250, 250. Okay, sir. Then, so 27,500 plus 250. Sir, your mathematics is very bad. Yes, I know. Next, 27,750, 27,750. Okay, sir. Now, this is the value under section number 38. I hope everyone is clear. Basic value under section number 38. Now, these are the half goods which are sold to Shyam for 2 lakh rupees. So, Baba, let's do for this. For this, we will go ahead and apply directly IGST because these are the goods. These are bond to bond transfer wala goods. These are the goods which were directly cleared by me only. I did not go ahead and sell it to Shyam. So, Baba, for these goods, IGST directly will be levied at the rate of 12%, 27,750 into 12%, 3330. Sir, the total amount will come to here 31080. So, 27,750 plus 3330, 31080. Can you tell me the total custom duties? Sir, here custom duty which is there is basically this amount and this amount. So, sir, total custom duty is 2500 plus 250 plus 3330. Sir, it is 6080 is the total custom duty. Sir, on these goods, how will you go ahead and calculate? First, this is the custom duty, this is the custom duty. Okay. Now, this is the value under section number 38. And what is the transaction value, sir? Transaction value is 2 lakh. Sir, which is higher? 2 lakh is higher. So, Baba, IGST shall be paid on 2 lakh rupees. I hope everyone is clear. So, Baba, IGST will be paid on 2 lakh rupees. So, how much will come? Sir, 2 lakh pay, it is already done. 12% means 24,000. So, sir, 24,000 IGST shall be paid. And, sir, total will come 27,700, 27,750 plus 24,000. Total will come 51,750. Can you tell me the total custom duty? Custom duty is this plus this IGST amount. So, 24,000 plus 2,500 plus 250. Sir, custom duty is 26,750. I hope everyone is clear. Sir, if total goods are cleared, bond to bond transferred, then you will go ahead and take value under 38 or transaction value. Sir, if partially it is done, then you will go ahead and do calculation like this. I hope everyone is clear. Baba, we are done with bond to bond transfer. Baba, same calculation for GST compensation cess also. Now, have I covered everything? Yes, sir, you have covered everything. Here I have covered everything. In my additional chart which is there, in my additional chart, I have gone ahead and told you about the first one, preferential rate of duty, trade agreement. Baba, trade agreement, I didn't find it very important, but still might be a small question which comes. What do you mean by trade agreement? Lower rate of duty shall be levied under a trade agreement subject to the following condition. Basically, sometimes what happens, where under it says, where under an agreement between the government of India and a foreign country, government of India and foreign country has an agreement, duty at a lower rate than the one specified in the first schedule. Baba, import duty which is specified in the first schedule, lower rate of duty than that rate will be charged if government of India has a trade agreement with another country. For an example, government of India has a trade agreement with US government that will go ahead and charge 10% rate of duty. Then Baba, 10% rate of duty will be charged, and first schedule it is mentioned 20%. 20% will not be charged, 10% will be charged if there is a agreement between government of India and that other government of that other country subject to the fulfillment of this condition. Please read the condition at home, not very important. If you read also, you will understand. 3.8 I have done it. 8B I have done it, 9 we have done 9A, I have told you about refund of anti-dumping duty. Baba, always remember one thing over here, Also, one thing is no levy. When will no duty be levied under section number 9 or 9A? Basically, when will no anti-subsidy duty or Baba anti-dumping duty be levied? I found it little important, so I have gone ahead and given it over there. Please read it once before going for the exam. Then appeal, sir. Can I go ahead and appeal against the order of the authority? Basically, all these authorities. Which are the authorities? This Director General of Safeguard, this Director General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties, this Director General of Allied Duties, they will go ahead and pass order under section number 9A, 9, 8B. Basically, they will go ahead and give orders for safeguard duty, they will give orders for subsidized anti-subsidy duty, they will give orders for anti-dumping duty. Can I go ahead and challenge it? Yes, Baba, you can go ahead and appeal. The appeal has to be filed with the SESTAT. Where is it? Appeal has to be filed with the SESTAT, basically Central Excise Service Tax Appellate Tribunal. Sir, do we have to go ahead and file an appeal within how many days? You have to file within 90 days, accompanied by a fees of 15,000. SESTAT will go ahead and give opportunity of being heard to the various parties which are there, and Baba, then they will go ahead and pass the order. Here we are done with the chapter of types of duties. Baba, in types of duties, the first duty which is there is basic custom duty, levied under section number 12, and it is levied at the rate which is notified in the first schedule and second schedule of the Custom Tariff Act. First schedule gives you the custom import duty ka rate, second schedule gives you the export duty ka rate. Sir, to claim preferential rate of duty, you'll have to make, to claim preferential rate of duty, Baba, there are some conditions which you'll have to go ahead and fulfill under section number 4. Basically, you'll have to go ahead and see that the goods are originating from preferential area, you'll have to go ahead and make a specific claim, etc. Sir, CBD 3.1, basically CBD 3.1 is levied only on 3 items, which is alcoholic liquor for human consumption, tobacco, and Baba HP man. It is at the rate of excise duty, which is levied on like article in India. On alcoholic liquor at the rate notified by the government, then SWS at the rate of 10%. Sir, CBD 3.5 is levied at the rate of sales tax and VAT. As of now, it is levied only on HP man. Sir, all other duties which are there, I have gone ahead and explained you. I hope you guys enjoyed the chapter. Baba, people who have not subscribed to the channel, do go ahead and subscribe. And also, if you like the videos, do let me know in the comment section. Right, everyone? All the best, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But please practice a lot of questions. Baba, when you practice the questions, you will be able to understand everything now. Right, everyone? All the best, guys. Bye. Good night.